Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with BNEWS reporters Tad Stefanak, John Vias, and Robert Paris, Peter Brown with the weather, Gretchen Carey with community calendar, and Anthony Matos with sports. Thank you for joining us. A recent Burlington High School graduate, lover of football and hockey, and aspiring first responder who always wanted to help others, tragically passed away in an automobile accident this week. Joseph Tyler Fournier passed away in a single-car accident on Monday morning, November 1, at just 18 years old. Joey was born in Boston and grew up in Burlington. As a child and teenager, he was involved in many sports, but loved football and hockey the most. He was a 2021 graduate of Burlington High and was currently enrolled in school studying to become an EMT. His goal was to become a firefighter. Joey had a kind of loving heart, his obituary reads. He was known for putting others first, never judging, and always making sure everyone around him was welcomed with open arms. He wore his heart on his sleeve and treated those he crossed paths with like they were family. Joey's smile and his laugh were contagious. He loved being with his family and friends just as much as they loved being with him. He will be missed. Burlington High School students and alumni are planning a candlelight memorial in honor of Joey following the BHS football game on Friday night. They will walk from Varsity Field to the town common following the end of play sometime between 9:30 and 10 p.m. where candles will be distributed and remarks on Joey's life made. We plan to cover the memorial and will have footage next week. A very prominent Burlington resident and United States Army veteran of the Korean War passed away last week. Thomas Francis Murphy, beloved husband of the late Nancy Broughton, passed away peacefully on October 28th at the age of 90. Tom was born and raised in Arlington as one of 7 children born to the late John and Irene Murphy. He attended St. Agnes Grammar School and graduated from Arlington High School in 1948. He went on to graduate from Boston College in 1952, where he served in the ROTC. After graduation, Tom joined the Army and served his country in the Korean War, achieving the rank of captain. During his service in the Army, he received the National Defense Service Medal, the Korean Service Medal, and the United Nations Service Medal. After the service, he entered Boston College Law School and received his law degree. He was a founder of Shea Murphy Gould. Tom met his future wife, Nancy, while the two were in kindergarten at St. Agnes School. They married in 1956 at the Park Plaza Hotel in Boston, and in 1957 bought their first house in Burlington. They would raise their 6 children and become very active members of the Burlington community. Tom's first job out of law school was the position of law clerk to the Chief Justice of the Mass Supreme Judicial Court. From there, he started his first job as a lawyer with his uncle's firm. In 1959, Tom got together with his friend Charlie Shea, and they began their own firm called Shea Murphy. In 1985, Tom was proud to welcome his oldest son, Tom Jr., into the firm. Tom, as you know, a current school committee member. Tom was very involved in local politics, creating a legacy of service to the town of Burlington that he passed down to his children, which still continues to this day. Tom Sr. served as town moderator from 59 to 66 and again from 84 to 98. In between, Tom served as town selectman from 67 to 69. Along with many local friends and businessmen, he founded Burlington Bank and Trust in 1966, which was the Burlington's first bank and was a very successful venture that served the citizens of Burlington well for many years. Elementary-aged children could start getting the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine as early as this week after a panel of advisors from the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention recommended giving child-sized doses to children ages 5 to 11 on Tuesday. The CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices voted unanimously, 14-0, to recommend the vaccine for the younger children. The vote came a week after a similar panel from the Food and Drug Administration recommended approving the vaccine for the same age group. The final approval came when CDC Director Rochelle Walensky signed off on the vote on Wednesday. Approving the vaccine for 5 to 11-year-olds means roughly 28 million children in this age range would become eligible for the pair of jabs. Pfizer has reportedly already begun shipping millions of the child-sized doses to pharmacies and pediatric offices in preparation of mass distribution. Pfizer also says in its clinical trial, the vaccine provides 90.7% protection against symptomatic disease in children and is shown to have less side effects with this age group, possibly due to the fact the dose is 1/3 of what people 12 and older receive. Locally, allowing more children to receive the vaccine could mean a change in the mask mandate policy in schools. The Mass Department of Elementary and Secondary Education has said any school building that has 80% of its staff and students vaccinated can repeal the masking requirement for all vaccinated individuals if the local administration signs off on the program. Late last month, the state's mask mandate for schools was extended to at least January 15 of 2022. On Friday, October 29, area businesses, education, and government leaders gathered for the Middlesex 3 Coalition annual meeting to discuss the worker shortage and hear remarks from Mass Secretary of Labor Rosalind Acosta. BNEWS Director Rich Hosford was there and files this report.
On Friday, October 29, area leaders in business, education, and government gathered at Middlesex Community College in Bedford for a networking event and to hear about the current worker shortage from a detailed report commissioned by the state and Massachusetts Secretary of Labor Rosalind Acosta. It was the annual meeting of the Middlesex 3 Coalition, an organization dedicated to bringing different entities together so everyone can benefit and prosper.
Middlesex 3, we are a regional economic development organization which brings the public and the private sector together to try to address business development concerns that are difficult for one community or one company to address on their own. Transportation was the biggest concern that we heard from the business community pre-COVID. Now it's really workforce development, and I think we heard a lot of that today as well too. And how do we make certain we have the workers that our companies need in order to come to this area, expand, and operate?
The meeting was both a chance for participants to learn about the worker situation, programs that are out there, funds that are available, and to network with one another.
Yeah, I think it is a great way to set the stage and just hear what's available and how can we as a region work together to make certain that we're taking advantage of what we know what's out there so that we can tap into the resources that are available. And you see it's going on right now as well too, just different people collaborating. We work well together. This area we like each other. We like to work with each other, and it's a great way to bring resources together so that we're stronger.
Finally, Secretary Acosta said meetings like this are how things get done.
I think that, as I said in my conversation with everyone here, there's a lot of funds out there. But the magic sauce here is to make sure that the employers are connected in this strategy with us, because all the training that we're going to do needs an employer at the other end. So this is a real combination of multiple stakeholders between our community colleges, our educational systems, our community-based organizations, our employers, our workforce systems. That's how we're going to get this all of this ARPA money coming our way to work most effectively, because there's a lot of people that we need to upskill over the next 10 years.
From Middlesex Community College, I'm BNews Director Rich Hosford.
New renovations continue at the Burlington Mall. In an application for a site plan approval as submitted to the Planning Board, Hudson Bay Company, the former parent of Lord & Taylor, said they are interested in pursuing a mixed-use development project in the former store location. According to the cover letter, the project would include office, retail, and restaurant uses, with the ratio of such uses to be determined based on prospective tenant interest. Our client has a long-term ground lease of the premises with the consent of Simon Property Group, has begun marketing efforts with the goal of re-tenanting the building, the letter written by the company's attorney states. The use conversion concept, which Hudson Bay's company has branded the York Factory, has been implemented at former Lord & Taylor stores across the country to modernize the vacant retail spaces with an innovative mix of uses that encourage long-term tenant stability and complement surrounding retail and service-oriented uses. The Metro West Daily has reported Metro West Daily News reported in September that Hudson Bay Company had similar plans for the Natick Mall. They also pointed out that there had been a dedicated website for York Factory, but that it had been since taken down. Burlington is well known for their affordable housing program, and a former military home on South Bedford Street owned by the town has been restored and is ready for a new family to move in. BNews reporter John Vias has this look.
If Bedford Street is part of your daily commute, it's likely you've noticed construction on one particular house over the past year. That house lies on 117 South Bedford Street and is one of 14 houses given to the town by the U.S. military. Thanks to Burlington's well-known affordable housing program, it's now been restored, better than its original standing. I caught up once again with Selectman Mike Runyon to talk about the newly restored home and to recap the property's history.
This whole development along South Bedford Street here, this is all former military housing from the 1960s. They abandoned the property in the late 1980s and offered the homes to the town at a very reasonable cost. So there's 12 or 13 of them here, and this was really one of the first steps in the town of Burlington creating affordable housing for residents of town. And it's been very successful. Most of the homes here on South Bedford Street are still occupied some 25 years later from the original purchasers.
I have seen some of the picture on Zillow and how bad the property was and how wonderfully it has been restored. I think the family who moves in here is going to be one lucky family who's going to have the best time of their life.
Many hours were put into the revival of this beautiful home, and it would not have been done without a team of dedicated volunteers.
Mike himself put a volunteer hours, 100, 200, 500 hours, but there was a whole team who was a part of this wonderful process of rebuilding this house.
The house is actually better than new right now. It's a 3-bedroom, first-time home buyer property. Very rarely are they available here in Burlington. Just the fact that we're able to offer this for a family is really kind of unique, but we hope to be able to offer more of that family-style housing in the near future.
With a brand new home comes some brand new perks that will grab the attention of a young family wanting to settle in Burlington.
Brand new appliances, brand new building. I think for next 30 years they would not have to worry about it. Brand new heating systems. They are going to be the lucky one, and they're going to enjoy the beautiful house.
And in addition to this newly restored home, Selectman Runyon says there are more exciting plans to come with the town's affordable housing program.
We've contracted with Metropolitan Area Planning Council to conduct a comprehensive housing needs assessment for us here in Burlington, something we've never had done before. And so we think we'll find some interesting results, and that will help guide us in the future as development proposals come forward.
From the newly restored home on 117 South Bedford Street, this is John Vias for BNews Weekly.
That home is for sale and is available. Applications are available at the Selectman's office. Burlington has received funds to run a study with the eventual goal of converting unused impervious pavement areas into green spaces. Conservation Administrator John Keeley informed the Select Board that the town received a $108,000 grant from the state's Municipal Vulnerability Program, an initiative to help communities prepare and adapt to mitigate the effects of climate change. Keeley said the funds will go towards a Vine Brook watershed and urban heat island assessment. He said the watershed is particularly important to the town because of its large size and the fact it could be impacted by greater rainfall. Environmental consultant Jeff Malloy said the goal is to identify areas the town could implement nature-based solutions. These could include building a rain garden, finding areas where they could convert pavement into a wetland replication, and a stream daylighting where an underwater stream is exposed. He said the main goal is to convert impervious surfaces to green space. The Marshall Simons Middle School emotional support dog Moose turned 1-year-old last week. BNews reporter Robert Paris went to talk to his handler and find out how he's been helping students during this stressful school year. He has this
In
report.
January of this year, we met Moose, the emotional support dog at the Marshall Simons Middle School. Now, we have returned 9 months later to see how he has been progressing.
So Moose turned 1, and he now weighs about 90 pounds. So he's about 10 times the size he was in January when he was a baby. When we had him in last year, he was kind of just getting acclimated to the school. He came in for a little bit here and there, and then he came over more during the summer. This school year, he's been coming in every day, visiting classes every day, and he does very well. He walks down the hall, he says hi to all the kids, he goes in classrooms, the kids come over, he'll lie down, the kids get to pet him. They have a great time. He just loves it. He loves all the attention. He rolls over and gets a lot of belly rubs. He gets a lot of kisses. He likes to hang out. He gives the kids high fives. He just has a great time doing it.
Moose will undergo further training with his handler.
He's just going to get more training, and hopefully before the end of the year, he'll be actually trained therapy dog, so he can just do, a lot more cooperation and just kind of be more independent. And we're moving in that direction, but he's still a big puppy, so we keep working on it.
From the Marshall Simons Middle School, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
Check out a powerful display featuring people who came from all over the world to become American citizens. The Burlington Public Library is hosting a display of photographer Mark Chester's works titled The Bay State, a Multicultural Landscape, Photographs of New Americans, featuring works from a book by the same name. The photographs, taken between 2011 and 2016, are all of newly naturalized citizens from more than 180 countries who live in Massachusetts. To create the work, Chester attended naturalization ceremonies across the state to personally meet some of the hundreds of individuals who have become America's newest citizens and residents of the Bay State, his release states. Mark's long career has taken him across the globe with photographs that have appeared in Time and Newsweek, among a host of other national publications. The traveling exhibit will be on display at the Burlington Public Library through November 30th. In the latest BNews Health and Wellness segment, Burlington Elementary School physical education instructors and experts from Lifetime are making sure kids learn healthy fitness habits and appetites. Let's take a look.
Lifetime recently launched the Kids Studio classes for ages 5 through 13. And unfortunately, recently, the World Health Organization has reported that 80% of the kids are not getting enough physical activity. So we wanted to have these classes tailored specifically for kids.
Part of what I love about my job is the interaction I get with those students and how much we get to just kind of enjoy the movement piece of what we do and how exciting that can be and some of the challenges they face, and then overcoming those challenges is something that we love to do. That's kind of the fulfilling part of our job.
We tell our students they should be active for 60 minutes a day, and that includes running so you're out of breath, vigorous movement as we call it, and it can be broken up because of course 60 minutes in one time period isn't possible, so they should aim for 60 minutes in the whole day.
Classes are a 40-minute class that's kids friendly, that is similar to our adult studio classes. So they are learning Soul Yoga, which is a class with fun and playful poses. They're also doing Shred, which is a strength-based class. And then we also have Life Bar, which is our ballet-style formatted class.
A lot of times we'll try to involve an exercise with what we're doing, whether it's we're doing a conditioning piece, so we're working on tossing and catching, we're running to certain locations, picking up spots if we're able to catch it. So students are really getting that benefit of the cardio piece along with the skill set piece of the tossing and the catching, the communication piece.
We have a great environment down here. We play a lot of fun games, very interactive, very social. We let them pick their partners. We also get into small groups. So the social piece is really important.
You can have your child between 3 months to 12 years old come and join us, and they can spend about 2.5 hours here with us, where we have different classes such as gymnastics, gym games, arts and crafts, homework help.
We talk about healthy eating all the time. We have a lot of fun games.
Why do we all eat? It's a source of energy, and we compare it to the vehicles that you guys drive around in, whether it's electric or it's gas, it needs energy. We need energy, and then we talk about the different types of energy and what they do for us.
How something straight out, is healthy like broccoli. But is it okay to have a hamburger once in a while? And we talk about balance and moderation.
Empty calories versus whole foods and those types of things, and how that not only helps us with mood and energy, but makes us feel better.
And focus on good sportsmanship and teamwork and kindness, treating others the way you want to be treated.
We have recently debuted a partnership with Game Face Training, which is a class for ages 8 through 13. That is a sport-based class for their agility and movement. We also do a lot of CDC guidelines for cleaning.
There are times where we have breaks in between classes where we can sanitize things like mats or frisbees. Everyone's touching those.
We do spray all of our equipment after everything has been used, as well as bathrooms, door handles at the end of the day also.
We're fortunate that we have a lot of equipment here in the school, so we do rotate equipment. So if there isn't time to clean it, we have another set ready to go for the next class coming in.
Keep kids moving, keep them engaged, and keep them having fun, getting them to understand that the movement piece shouldn't be a chore. It should be something that you value because it is fun, it makes you feel better.
We're creating lifelong movers. That's what our goal is. The joy of exercise and movement. So when they look back, they'll remember how much fun it was. And exercise doesn't have to be a chore. As children, we're just having fun, moving and using our bodies. And we're growing healthy bodies here.
Exercise is only a chore when you get to be my age. We go now to BNEWS weatherman Peter Brown for the latest forecast. We'll also check out the community calendar with Gretchen Carey to see what's happening in Burlington.
Well, hello everyone. This is Peter Brown with your weather for the next 7 days. Here we are heading into November. I know it's hard to believe that we are in the last month of meteorological fall. Yes, only 4 weeks until the beginning of meteorological winter, and thereafter 7 weeks until the start of official winter. Now, we're not going to talk about that, of course, right now. We most likely will have some nice weather still to go ahead as we go into November, although our temperatures, of course, at this time of the year, as you've noticed in the Burlington area the past week or so, have definitely cooled way off from what it was like in October. Now, starting our period on Friday, we're supposed to be seeing temperatures at this time of the year in the mid-50s, and that's also what we see when we get towards the end of the period next Thursday. We're going to be seeing temperatures, again, starting out on Friday, kind of cool out there, but again, right about average, temperatures in the low to mid-50s. And of course, looks like we're going to see a great stretch of weather coming up when we look at the 7-day forecast in a little bit. Looks like we're going to have some great conditions out there. And as we get again towards the end of the period on Thursday, our average highs at this time of the year should be in the low to mid-50s. And that's pretty much where we're going to be. And of course, as you notice, the days keep getting shorter and shorter, and don't forget before you go to sleep this coming Saturday night to turn your clocks back as we fall back as daylight savings time ends. So of course that means our sunsets are now going to be happening starting on Sunday at 4:30 in the afternoon. So a sure sign, unfortunately, that winter is on its way. So as we go ahead, let's take a look what the Climate Prediction Center is calling for us in the Burlington area in terms of temperatures and precipitation for the next 7 to 10 days. And again, looks like they're calling for us to have about average temperatures, and that's what I'm seeing as well. So nothing really, really, really cold, and unfortunately, though, for the rest of us, like the mild weather, nothing really warm either. As we look at our precipitation chances, November is actually the wettest month of the year for us here in southern New England, and it looks like it is going to be featuring some below average precipitation. In fact, it's going to be very, very dry as we go through the next 7 to 10 days. So no need to worry about any rain and definitely no snow. So as we go ahead, let's take a look at those 7 days of weather coming again. And again here, we pretty much have wall-to-wall sunshine, really just a few fair weather clouds each day. Again, starting at our period on Friday, temperatures in the mid-50s, and that's pretty much where we're going to stay right through till next Thursday. Again, temperatures are going to be pretty cool this weekend. Maybe hovering around 50, maybe struggling to get out of the upper 40s as we have a cool shot of air coming in from central Canada. And we have a fairly decent-sized storm that's going to be missing us to the south and east, so that's saving us from getting any rain or accumulating snow this weekend. So that is some great news, as many of the trees in the Burlington area are still fully leaved. And again, starting out our work week, temperature is going to moderate a little bit back up to about average in the mid to upper 50s, and it looks like we're going to continue that right through the end of the period. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the weather, and have a great week.
I'm Gretchen Carey, and this is your community calendar. The Burlington Community Scholarship Foundation is having a Thanksgiving pie fundraiser. Pies must be ordered by November 11th. Proceeds will benefit Adopt a Class 2030. To order your pie, go to tickettailor.com/events/BCSF. On November 13th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., Grandview Farm will be having a pop-up market event. To learn more, go to Gina's Creations and Shop Facebook page. Walk and Wag for Veterans on November 14th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. The event is free and will be held at Great Brook Farm State Park in Carlisle. For more information, go to walkandwagforveterans.com. I'm Gretchen Carey, and that was your Community Calendar.
The regular fall season is over, but Red Devils, our teams, are battling it out in the playoffs. For all the latest action, we go now to BNews sports reporter Anthony Matos for this week's sports report.
Hey everyone, I'm Anthony Matos, and this is your weekly sports report. The Red Devils headed to the playoffs this past week, and we got a full scoop, so let's get to it. Burlington football took on the Stoneham Spartans on October 29th. Here are some highlights.
The regular season came to a close for the Red Devils as they took on the Stoneham Spartans on Friday, October 29th. Let's get to the action. Burlington started off the game with an onside kick, which the Spartans recovered. On the drive, running back Patrick McNamara ran for a 53-yard touchdown, putting the Spartans on the board at 6-0. They ended up going for 2 points, which was successful, 8-0. Burlington answered back as quarterback Ronan Noak threw his 69-yard touchdown pass to wide receiver Sammy Doherty, 8-7. The Spartans had a very long drive. Their quarterback Jason Nutting ran in himself to extend their lead. The Spartans had another successful 2-point attempt, 16-7. Noak once again threw to Doherty, and this time it was a 65-yard touchdown, 16-14. At the end of one, it was 16-14 Stoneham. Now in the second, Stoneham set themselves up with a 1st and goal. McNamara ran it again for a Spartans TD, 24-14 after the 2-point attempt. The Red Devils had a 3-and-out on the drive and punted it away. Burlington was penalized on the Stoneham drive for roughing the passer and a horse collar tackle. The Spartans once again scored with McNamara leading the way 32-14 after the 2-point conversion. Noak ran it in for a Burlington touchdown with 8 seconds remaining in the first half. The 2-point attempt was good, 32-22 at the half. The Red Devils began the third quarter with possession. Noak threw it to Doherty again for a 51-yard touchdown pass and went for a successful 2-point conversion, 32-30. Stoneham scored another rushing touchdown with Patrick McNamara. Two-point conversion was successful, 40-30. Burlington punted on their next drive after 3-and-out. Stoneham got one more touchdown in the third by Jason Nutting. The 2-point attempt was good, 48-30. With a minute and 56 seconds left in the third, Ronan Noak found Sammy Doherty for a 90-yard TD. The 2-point conversion was unsuccessful as Noak was sacked on the attempt. At the end of the third quarter, it was 48-36. Burlington had 3-and-outs on their possession in the fourth. Stoneham had 3 more touchdowns in the fourth, one from Jake Bruno, another from Jason Nutting, and another from Colin Farron. The final score in the game was 68-36, Stoneham.
Burlington finished the regular season at 0-8 and will verse the Somerville Highlanders on November 5th. You can check it out on the BCAT TV Facebook page. Girls swimming will be heading to Worcester Polytechnic Institute for the MIAA sectionals on November 7th. They finished the regular season at 0-10. Girls and boys soccer took on Greater Lowell Tech on the 30th. We have some highlights from both of those matchups.
It was a rainy morning and afternoon as both soccer teams took on Greater Lowell Tech. Let's start with the girls' game. In the first half, the Red Devils got 2 goals. First one was from senior captain Sarah Quinlan, and the second was from senior captain Sylvia Cummings. The score was 2-0 heading into halftime. During the second half, the girls got an additional 4 goals. Another from Quinlan, Cummings, senior captain Michaela Giordano, and the last from senior Elizabeth Breeby. The final in the game was 6-0. Shortly afterwards, the boys came to play. Let's see what happened in theirs. In the first half, senior Dominic Porter got the Devils on the board first. Burlington then scored their second of the day by Heineke. Greater Lowell Tech tied it up before the end of the first half, 2-2. Greater Lowell Tech added 2 more goals in the second. Final score, 4-2 GLT.
The girls finished the season at 6-9-3 and the boys 4-10-3. Girls volleyball faced Plymouth South in the Division II MIAA tournament on the 4th. We were there, so let's go to the highlights.
The start of playoff season began inside of the BHS Gymnasium, as girls volleyball took on Plymouth South in the Division II MIAA tournament. In the first set, the Devils beat the Panthers by 25-19. Burlington had the set score at 1-0. Plymouth snuck by in the second as they won 25-23. The set score was tied at 1-1. Burlington bounced back in set 3 by taking the lead again after a 25-20 win, 2-1. Plymouth stayed alive in the fourth set as they won by a score of 25-22. Set score was now tied at 2-2. Sudden death time for both teams as the Panthers and Red Devils needed to reach the game-winning score of 15 to advance to the next round. In the end, Burlington held on and beat the Panthers in a 15-8 win in set 4.
Burlington moves on to the next round of the MIAA playoff tournament. They'll either play Hopkinton or Danvers. That match is still to be played. Girls field hockey headed to Westwood High School on November 4th in their first round of the MIAA tournament. The girls came in to halt as they lost by a score of 7-1. Burlington finishes at 3-12-4. The boys cross-country team headed to Woburn Country Club for the Middlesex League meet on the 1st. 7 athletes from the team competed. Burlington finished 7th out of first place. Wakefield, Arlington, Lexington, Reading, Melrose, and Belmont, along with Winchester, were also in attendance. The girls did not compete in this league meet and finished the season at 2-4. For more Red Devil action, go to the BNEWS Sports section at bcattv.org/sports and check out our Twitter page at BNews Sports. That's all for Weekly Sports Report. I'm Anthony Matos. Back to you guys in the studio.
Another week, another photo to highlight. This photo showcases the beauty of nature and the photographer's skills. It's another sent in by Burlington resident Phyllis Neufeld, and it features a ruby-throated hummingbird having a snack of flower nectar at Horn Pond. According to the website All About Birds, this type of hummingbird beats its wings 53 times every second, so to get a shot with a little blur as this one is certainly an accomplishment. Thank you for the photo, Phyllis. We'd like to see your photos. They could be of your fall activities, a family trip, or just everyday moments, whatever you think is interesting and want to share. Email your photos to bcattv.org with the subject line Photo of the Week. Please make sure to stay tuned after the news for the latest Burlington Public School update for all the latest education news from the district. That's it from the news desk here at BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with Rich Hosford, Tad Stefanak, Robert Paris, John Vias, Peter Brown, Anthony Matos, and Gretchen Carey. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, this is Patrick Larkin, Assistant Superintendent, along with Mr. Ray Porch, our Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, with the BPS update for November 5th, 2021. First off, our thoughts and prayers this evening are directed to support of the Fournier family for the loss of Joseph, a 2021 BHS grad. On behalf of the entire district, we wish you peace.
And for our COVID update, we had 3 cases of COVID-19 this week. And once again, with Test and Stay up and running, we performed over 200 Test and Stay tests on individuals with consent forms submitted. We were able to keep these students in school. Thanks to our nurse leader, Barbara Conley, for coordinating this effort.
Again, changes coming this month in November. As a reminder, we are opening our elementary and middle school cafeterias early this month. With the introduction of vaccines for students over the age of 5, our hope is to begin to reduce the COVID restrictions that have been put in place. We'll be following the state requirements to wear masks through January 15th. Any relief for mask wearing will be directly correlated to the percentage of students who are vaccinated. Please work with your child's pediatrician in regards to deciding whether to get your child vaccinated. As a reminder, if your child tests positive for COVID, please contact the Burlington Board of Health along with your school nurse. The positive is not official until confirmed by the Board of Health. The earlier the Board of Health can confirm, the more efficient and accurate the contact tracing can be.
CPAC meeting next Tuesday. Please join the Burlington Special Education Parent Advisory Council, CPAC, and Federation for Children with Special Needs for their annual workshop on basic rights in special education this coming Tuesday, November 9th at 7 p.m. Attorney Jessica Sales Cohen will present on the evaluation and eligibility process. Pre-register with the link in the video description. Please direct any questions to Burlington CPAC Gmail and or visit our website at burlingtoncpac.org for more information about the event and our organization. Session 2 of Let's Talk About It will be held Wednesday, November 17th. This will be a continuation of last month's initial discussion about diversity, equity, and inclusion in our school community, facilitated by yours truly. This event, which is co-sponsored by the Burlington Education Foundation, is scheduled for 7 o'clock to 8:30 p.m. If you would like to attend this upcoming Let's Talk About It session or any of the remaining sessions, please register with the link in the video description. You will be sent an additional link for that particular session.
The Vinebrook Watershed and Urban Heat Island Assessment. The Burlington Conservation Committee has received a grant from the Massachusetts Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Program, which will focus on the Vinebrook Watershed and Urban Heat Island Assessment. This project, led by the town of Burlington, is intended to address urban flood impacts from extreme precipitation and urban heat island effects from anticipated extreme climate events. This project will evaluate this highly developed watershed for opportunities to implement nature-based solutions to address anticipated impacts due to climate change. For more information on how you can participate in this project, please go to the project's website with the link in the video description.
Thank you all for watching and have a great weekend.